Hello. I hope you're all doing well. And if not, I at least hope that your night improves. So, tonight we're going to use the Fablemaker's deck of many things. I thought about using it last week, and I didn't, and I ended up using the Empyrean Oracle instead, and I kind of wished that I had used the Fablemaker's deck of many things, and I should have just pulled it out and switched it, but oh well. Wait, let me make sure this is focused. There we are, because that looked a little blurry there. It's like, what's wrong with it? Oh, it's out of focus. Alrighty. I have a cup of tea. I have a lovely incense stick burning next to me. I put on some nice lip balm. So, I am all ready. Alrighty. So, going to be using the Seasons of the Witch Winter Tarot because I've actually quite liked this tarot deck lately. This has pretty much become like my regularly used deck. I have to resist the urge to use it for like every weekly collective that I post over on Coffee. Because I feel like for some reason I need to like be using a variety of decks, and it's just like, but why? But why though? I have a larger variety of decks so that I can like see like which ones I like and which ones match which sort of like use and need. And right now, Seasons of the Witch Tarot is actually filling that quite well. So why do I need to use another one? Plus, you know, I bought the decks to use them, so if I have one that I really, really like using, why the fuck do I feel like I need to use something else? Like, this is the deck that's been like best for just like general like usage right now. The one that I've been using a lot personally is the Sugar Skull Tarot. I've used that one personally in a few of my own personal readings outside of stream, and I quite like that one. And I've also been trying to use, now that the energy of the deck has shifted a little bit, I've been using the Horror Tarot that I dedicated to Mr. Sass a lot, and some of you know the story of what happened with that deck. And it's funny. It's quite funny knowing that and like seeing how rapidly the energy of that deck shifted. Oops. But also apparently not oops. the deck finally matches the person a little more in terms of vibes and in terms of like the energy that it gives off in readings. So yeah. Long story short, I accidentally gave myself a paper cut, kind of, while shuffling the cards, because they're kind of a bit hard to shuffle. Like they're very rigid, which like is good, but good for you know, like longevity. Not so good for shuffling because it makes it really hard to shuffle. So I accidentally gave myself a paper cut on like this was like months ago. This was like sometime early October, actually, I think at this point. So it was nearly 2 months ago. And I gave myself a paper cut on like this finger right here, like right by that like bend there for the knuckle. Like right here. I gave myself a paper cut accidentally, and I accidentally, without realizing it, bled on that tarot deck. So, oops. That would be this tarot deck right here. Like, I don't even know if it's visible anymore. I can kind of see like a bit of it, but that's because I like know where it is. Like I know what to look for because like yeah. But like I can still see like a tiny bit of it like on the top edge of the card. Like I see a piece of it like right here. It's very, very faint and it's not really even that noticeable, but yeah. Anyway, on to the collectives. Let me just take a drink of my tea really quick. But yeah. Hey, Ro. I hope you're doing well. Alrighty. You don't really be here right now. My gosh. I don't know that I'm... Okay, we got 4. Let's go ahead and get an extra. Thank you. Oh boy. Oh, not you. Not you. What are you? Oh boy. Oh, fuck off. Alright. 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 We got the Ace of Swords, the 10 of Wands, the 10 of Pentacles reversed, the Apprentice of Cups, which is the Knight of Cups, and then the 7 of Cups. Oh boy. Oh boy. So, there's... I'm actually gonna move this over here, because, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oops, sorry, moving that a little too far off camera. So these three here are just kind of going together, which is feeding into this. So, these vibes here. Okay, that 7 of Cups and that 10 of Wands together. Things are a little much right now. Things are a little overwhelming. Things are weighing on you a little heavily. There's a lot going on, a lot that's requiring your attention, perhaps. And a lot of potential, you know, like, ways that you could go here. You know, a lot of things that, like, require your attention that you could be, like, putting that attention into. And it's all overwhelming, okay? It's all overwhelming. There's a lot being asked of you here, and you're just kind of feeling like you can't really, like, handle it. Like, you can't take it. It's just... yeah. And it's just kind of... there's a really, really heavy sense from that, like, 10 of Pentacles reversed energy. There's a heavy, heavy sense of just kind of, like, insecurity. And I don't mean insecurity in the terms of, like, emotional insecurity, like, in that way, like our insecurities and stuff. I don't mean that kind of insecurity. I mean, like, yeah, it might be feeding into that a little bit, but this is like a lack of security in just, like, home life, okay? It just kind of, like... yeah. There's a lot happening, there's a lot going on that's just kind of, like, potentially making you worry about, you know, making you worry about, like, the stability. Like, stability of, you know, like, your life, your home life, and, yeah. Might be making you question, you know, like, if things are, like, gonna work out in the end here. Okay. And if that's going to lead to, you know, potential problems in your future, and, like, if this is, like, really the right path, really the right choice, for you to be going down here, okay? And there's a lot of confusion and a lot of uncertainty here. You might not really even know anymore what you want out of the situation, or just really kind of what you want out of life anymore, okay? And, like, these things here are feeding into this, alright? That's what I mean about, like, what I meant earlier about, like, these things feeding into this. There's a little bit of confusion, just kind of a little bit of confusion, and potentially, like, a lack of, like, clarity regarding, like, what you want out of the situation and what you want out of, like, really even potentially life as a whole right now. And you might just, like, really, really be questioning things and whether this is right for you and whether it's going to work out, and yeah. There's... like, those are valid concerns, okay? But, if you find yourself in those, like, really tumultuous, confusing moments, remember that it's okay to take a step back until you have that clarity. And until you have that, like, the whole picture put into perspective here, okay? Like, once you have that clarity again, once you can see the way forward again, once you have that, like, renewed sense of perspective here where you can just kind of see the whole picture clearly, like, know that it's okay to just kind of, like, take a step back and just take time for yourself until you see that way forward again, okay? Like, continuing to push against that wall isn't going to help things any, okay? It's not going to help things any, and in fact, usually it just kind of makes things worse. When you're hitting that wall, just know that it's okay to take a step backward and just, like, take some time for yourself, okay? And also, I feel like I want to add another deck to this. I think I'm gonna go Imbolc. Used the Yule deck a few times with this on stream, but I want to go for Imbolc tonight. So we're gonna add this in. If I don't like the energy of this one, I will just swap it out for the Ostara Oracle. Excuse me, card. Hello. That one popped out immediately. Meanwhile, this one's just like, nah. Nah. Okay. We have Swan and Greenhouse. I am everything I seek, the one I am meant to trust above all else to create one of the strongest loves within my lifetime. Keywords are loyalty, romance, love, and creating a strong relationship to self. Pulling the Swan card in a reading can mean one of two things. First is a beautiful connection to finding a life partner or a soulmate-like connection. Swans stay with one partner for the entirety of their lives, and if you went searching for an image of a swan, you'd be hard-pressed not to come across two swans connecting in a heart-shaped embrace. Romance, love, and loyalty are the very heart of this card, so if your reading is about another person, then receiving this card is a good omen for a beautiful, loving relationship that has the potential to go the distance. The second meaning for this card, however, is all about you and the relationship you have with yourself. This card could be guiding you to find a deeper respect for yourself and see the great potential you have. Fuck you card. Much like the mislabeled ugly duckling, you too may have been misjudged or misunderstood, but the flawed opinions other people have about you will not change the remarkable person you were always born to be. You are destined for great things, but first you need to fall in love with yourself and believe you are deserving of having what you want. Which meaning is for you, you might ask? Listen to your spirit. Listen to your spirit. The first choice that comes to mind is the correct one. It's the second meaning. Then we have 23. May it be clear the intentions I sow in preparation for the path ahead. Keywords are sowing seeds, preparation, planning, setting things in motion and clear path. Greenhouse is one of the most positive cards in the deck, and pulling it means you are about to welcome a joyous new start. Unlike with other cards in this deck, this fresh beginning is something you've chosen for yourself, and you are excited about. You have all of the potential to create something momentous. However, this card also warns you not to expect miracles. There will still be a lot of hard work, dedication, and even some failures along the way, but the overall result will likely be very successful. If you're feeling stagnant or are in a challenging situation, this card encourages you to begin planting the seeds and preparing for a new idea or opportunity to drop into your lap. Going along with this energy here, with that Ace of Swords. Dress for the job you wish to have. Start researching things you'd do if you had the money or time to get together a plan of action for a goal, even if you don't have all the resources to make it happen. This is essentially what I did when I was waiting to get things together to start like moving and looking for an apartment. I literally created a vision board and just kind of like started adding things to it for like the sort of vibe I wanted for my room, my space, when I eventually got that. So receiving this card means the pathway is clear and you are covered by the safety of your cosmic greenhouse. You don't need to wait until external conditions are right to move forward with your plans. That part goes in line with that, a little bit, with that Ace of Cups energy. A little bit. I initially, funnily enough, when I initially saw this card, I almost thought it was the Knight of Swords instead of the Knight of Cups. And that absolutely fits with the Knight of Cups energy, or Knight of Swords energy, rather. The Knight of Swords energy is all about going after the ideas you have for yourself. And not really giving a fuck about, like, external opinions. So. Hello. We're gonna draw another card. There's 2 cards. Okay. We have Uriale and Flames, both the underworld versions. I already know the message of Uriale, so... This card is all about boundaries. Uriale. Theme: boundaries. Underworld keywords are nonchalance, promises, security, self-awareness, and vigilance. The Gorgon sits on a petrified kneeling figure, flanked by 2 other stone humans. She shrugs as though this situation is a regular occurrence for her. The card shows the aftermath of events and leaves the rest of the story untold. Why did the humans come to the Gorgon's lair? And what did they do to transgress her boundaries? Many popular depictions of Gorgons frame them as aggressors, such as Medusa, but modern interpretations suggest that they used their powers in self-defense when a threat emerged. Sometimes following through with the consequences you promised is necessary to assert and protect yourself. Alrighty. Questions associated. Can I talk tonight? Am I okay? Questions associated with the underworld version of your Yale are: 1. What is preventing you from setting and enforcing your boundaries? 2. What is the source of the expectations you face? 3. When you make a promise, how do you plan to keep it? What would make you break it? 4. How can you better respect the boundaries other people set? And 5. Are you putting time and thought into what matters to you or what you think matters to others? Then we have flames. Theme here is unfairness. Underworld keywords are defiance, hope, inheritance, restitution, and retreat. Flames is the card of injustice, representing circumstances in which power is used to cause suffering. These systems of harm and oppression are symbolized by a giant flame-wreathed snake, its vast and tangled body reflecting the complex and interconnected legacy of injustices borne out over the ages. The fire that engulfs it demonstrates not only the harm that comes from the improper use of power, but also how oppressive structures are ultimately self-consuming. Power is never stable, and those who hold it would be wise to exercise it fairly, lest it become their ruin. A single firefly, bathed in resplendent light, streaks away from the monstrosity. Its flight is an act of defiance against the serpent's will, but the outcome of its escape is unclear. We may become aware of injustice, but this alone is not enough. We must strive to challenge and dismantle the unjust power structures that influence our lives, or the flames will consume us. The questions associated with the underworld version of flames are: 1. What obstacles are in your way? 2. What can you do to make amends for the harm you have caused, intentionally or not? 3. How can you challenge your biases? 4. In what ways can you care for yourself when faced with injustice? 5. How can you kindle hope in yourself and others? Okay. So, don't let this keep you from doing this and going after the things you want, okay? And absolutely don't let those things get in the way of you caring for yourself. And caring for others. Okay. So I hope that message helps for whoever needed to hear it. Was the wrong deck that I just placed those into. I just tried to place the Fablemaker's cards into the tarot deck. Good job, me. Okay. Let's do one more collective here. And take a drink of my tea here really quick. Okay. Right. What do we need to hear right now? Oh boy. Okay, we're apparently doing another 5, because, yeah. They apparently have words right now, so. That one's mostly sideways. We'll see what that one wants to be. We're gonna put these two together, because we got the 5 of Cups. 5 of Cups, 5 of Pentacles. Oh boy. We got one of the cards that flipped over but didn't pop out was the 7 of Pentacles. We have the 7 of Wands right here. Oh, jeez. Hi. Alright, and then we got the... Okay. We got the King of Swords reversed. And then this card here, which turns sideways. That's the devil there. So we're gonna put that one upright. Oh, both sides of that energy being called on. And we're also going to put that over here. So, 5 of Cups, 5 of Pentacles, 7 of Wands. I'm also going to include that 7 of Pentacles that flipped over, but didn't pop out of the deck. The King of Swords, and the Devil. So, there's a lot of grief here, okay? A lot of grief, a lot of pain that you're carrying around with you, and just like the figure on the card, and I want to preface this by saying there's nothing wrong with it, okay? But just like the figure on the card, you might be focusing a little bit too much on the cups that were knocked over, rather than the things behind them that are still standing, okay? And that's okay, alright? It's okay to be upset and have the emotions that you're feeling about the things that you're dealing with, okay? And it's okay if that's just kind of taking the center stage in your life right now, and that's where like all of your focus is on that pain. That's okay. Sit with those emotions, let them exist, okay? Sit with those feelings of isolation, because you might be feeling a little bit isolated here as well with that 5 of Pentacles energy, okay? That 5 of Pentacles energy can also bring about that energy of just kind of feeling left out in the cold, and just kind of feeling like you don't have the support you need or the necessary resources you need to actually just kind of survive. Okay? And just, yeah, feeling, there might, like I said, just be like a feeling of isolation that comes with that as well, okay? And you just might be feeling a bit alone and just kind of lost in this grief here, okay? And, like, that's okay, that's valid. Like, allow yourself to feel and express those things. There's nothing wrong with that. And trying to shove those things away and pretend that everything is okay, that's toxic positivity, okay? That shit isn't good. Sit with those emotions, okay? Sit with what you're feeling. Don't try to shove it away. Don't feel bad for only really being able to focus on those things right now, okay? But remember that there is more than what you're feeling right now, okay? More outside of that exists, okay? More exists outside of that. But, essentially, along with that Seven of Wands energy and also the Seven of Pentacles energy, there is also a sense that you might be just kind of feeling like all of your hard work is just like leading to nothing. It's getting you nowhere. Which is, again, leading you to question if you've chosen the right path for yourself. And leading you to, you know, like, question if, you know, what you're doing is, like, right, okay? And you just might not feel, again, going back to that previous collective with this, like, Seven of Wands energy here specifically, you might feel like you're not equipped to handle the challenges in front of you, to handle the obstacles in front of you. And just in general, you might be feeling challenged in your position in some way or another. Feeling like you have something to prove. Whether that be to yourself or to others. So, again, sit with all of these feelings, sit with all the things that you're dealing with right now, okay? And do your best to unpack them and unravel that thread and just kind of work through those patterns so you can make choices that are more in alignment with who you want to be and where you want to be, okay? Because that's where that King of Swords energy is coming in here. The shadow here might be controlling the narrative a little bit too much, just kind of holding on to those reins a little too tightly, and in unseen ways might be affecting your decision-making process here, operating out of that place of survival, okay? And you're acting in ways and making decisions that aren't authentic to yourself, okay? That's what authenticity means. It's making decisions that are aligned with you, not decisions that are aligned with, that are in alignment with you and who you want to be and what you like and where you want to be, okay? Not in alignment, not in alignment with, some, you know, like old pattern or, you know, like some external opinion, okay? Or some expectation that's been placed on you. That's the point of working through these patterns. And just kind of working through these patterns and just kind of like seeing the whole picture and all the things that are at play here. Because having that awareness of when that pattern is coming up for you allows you to begin to make different choices. Choosing better, like different responses, little by little, that will shift you into being able to make better, healthier decisions for yourself that are more aligned with who you want to be and where you want to be in life, okay? We take 3. I'll do all 3. I'll do all 3. Okay. Okay. First card is Dream Realm. Not everything is what it may seem. Bring yourself back from all time and all places as a new perspective can be seen. Keywords are romanticizing, denial, and blowing things out of proportion. Uh-oh. Dreams and nightmares are 2 sides of the same coin. A dream can start as a comforting, joyful vision, but quickly spin out of control to become a devastating, fearful experience. Whether your dream is sweet and pleasant, or you're experiencing a horrific nightmare, your walk through the night realms is trying to tell you something you've denied in your waking life. Something that I often like to say about dreams, and like nightmares as a whole, is that like very, very often they're just kind of our brain trying to process the things that we experienced like in our day, and just things that are like affecting us in the present moment, like substantially, like significantly. Nightmares and dreams are just kind of a way our brain is just like processing things and sorting through those events. And sometimes it can be really fucking weird and just make absolutely no sense. And combine those elements in very, very odd ways. This card suggests you are seeing your situation through unrealistic eyes or romanticizing your reality. You could be overlooking red flags, and it could also mean the situation you've inquired about isn't as good as you would like to believe, that things will likely not turn out the way you're hoping. There's also the other side of the coin, that what you're seeing as a problem or something to fear may be exactly what you need. It may be time to reconsider something or someone you've previously overlooked. In the rare event this card involuntarily falls out of the deck in reverse, it means you're blowing your situation out of control. Was that card in reverse? I don't know. I don't recall. In the rare event this card involuntarily falls out of the deck in reverse, it means you're blowing your situation out of control. Things aren't as bad as they seem if you're willing to confront them head on. Which, yeah, confronting those fears and those, like, shadows and confronting those emotions and the patterns is really the only way out is through. You gotta deal with it at some point. And then Winter Woodlands. Take time to honor what you feel. Self-compassion is the healing balm you desire. Keywords are self-compassion, healing takes time, and honor what you feel. This is going so in line with what I said earlier, with the first collective. And also with this one. What I said at the beginning of this one. Heart healing can feel a lot like being in Winter Woodlands. In this landscape, it can seem like time is standing still and the pain you were facing will be with you forever. Yeah. Healing is never simple, and oftentimes you may not even know you're in a healing phase until you've made your way out. You may be ready to give up and shut yourself off from anything good that is attempting to come into your life. Ow. But you have pulled this card to tell you that healing is happening for you. Do not feel any pressure to heal your heart in any particular way. Sometimes it may feel like you're going in circles, passing the same emotions and feelings time and time again, but you must trust that you are headed in the right direction. Yeah. Yeah. It feels a lot like that. Very, very frequently. But yes. You just gotta remember that sometimes that's just part of the process. So, be gentle with yourself in the coming weeks, allowing yourself to feel what you're feeling without trying to change. You can still love someone even if they have hurt you, or grieve for something even if other people don't understand why. That doesn't mean you're silly, it means you're human. Don't worry, the frost on your heart will thaw, and spring will find you again. Alright, and then we got 24 Grimoire. Keep what is sacred near to you, for it is only to be shared when you are ready. Keywords are avoiding gossip, keeping secrets, and guarding your plans. Be careful about how much you share over the coming weeks, because you may be too quick to share information that could be harmful to yourself or others. This card warns against gossip and the damage it can cause. Ask yourself if you truly need to share this piece of information. What is the purpose of doing so, and does it have the potential to bring someone grief in the process? Aside from gossip, this card also suggests now is not a good time to share your plans. Others may be listening closely, waiting for the right bit of information to either derail your plans or steal them outright. Keeping your secrets for a time will also be beneficial to you, as you may need to work out more details before sharing anything with those closest to you. Doing so will allow you to solidify your plans without having to justify your actions, or feel the need to offer an explanation if things don't work out as expected. Keeping a grimoire, journal, or other sacred book will give you a safe space to share your thoughts and keep your personal records. Use this for now, then revisit your question again in 4 weeks' time. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what the Fablemaker's deck wants to add to this really quick. So, about the bit about, like, gossip and drama and stuff. Engaging in gossip and just... Engaging in gossip is still partaking in the drama, and will often just kind of keep that alive for longer than it needs to be, and just kind of drag you back into that sort of situation again. Don't fan the flames, just let it die. Funny. We got the flames card right as I'm talking about fanning the flames. Alright, we got Fool Underworld and Flames Underworld again. Oh, these cards are right next to each other. I just noticed. Hello, Adam. Okay. Theme for Fool is acceptance. Underworld keywords are hubris, impact, innovation, pride, and repercussions. The Fool plummets from the sky into a chasm as the sun's arrows pierce their wings. Plans fail, circumstances change, and the unexpected occurs without warning. The figure brings to mind the mythic character of Icarus, who flew too close to the sun. They warn us of the dangers of overconfidence and disregarding the wisdom of others. Though the Fool situation appears dire, things may not be as hopeless as they seem. The arrows that streak through them point the way to many possible futures. What we at first perceive as failure can in fact be the gateway to something new. Which goes in line with... what was it, this card? The end of this card or something? What we first perceive as failure can in fact be the gateway to something new, if only we are wise enough to recognize it. By accepting things as they are and not as we fear them to be, we can clearly listen to the parts of ourselves that will lead us to safety. The Fool's expression is one of surprise, not despair. What they glimpse in the space between the rocks may in fact be the path to freedom. Underworld questions are: 1. Are you ready to accept the fallout of your choices, both good and bad? 2. What isn't working, and how could you address it? 3. What could you do to place more trust in yourself? 4. What would you need to feel safe to make mistakes? And 5. How do you want to react to things beyond your control? And then we have Flames Underworld again. Theme is unfairness. Underworld keywords are defiance, hope, inheritance, restitution, and retreat. Flames is the card of injustice, representing circumstances in which power is used to cause suffering. These systems of harm and oppression are symbolized by a giant flame-wreathed snake, its vast and tangled body reflecting the complex and interconnected legacy of injustices borne out over the ages. The fire that engulfs it demonstrates not only the harm that comes from the improper use of power, but also how oppressive structures are ultimately self-consuming. Power is never stable, and those who hold it would be wise to exercise it fairly, lest it become their ruin. A single firefly, bathed in resplendent light, streaks away from the monstrosity. Its flight is an act of defiance against the serpent's will, but the outcome of its escape is unclear. We may become aware of injustice, but this alone is not enough. We must strive to challenge and dismantle the unjust power structures that influence our lives, or the flames will consume us. The Questions associated with the underworld version of Flames are, again, 1. What obstacles are in your way? 2. What can you do to make amends for the harm you have caused, intentionally or not? 3. How can you challenge your biases? 4. In what ways can you care for yourself when faced with injustice? And 5. How can you kindle hope in yourself and others? Okay. I hope that message helps for whoever needed to hear it. Let me take a drink really quick. Okay. Let me go ahead and open the queue here. Okay, queue is now open if you wish to join. You're okay, Bree. I understand. Thank you for the reminder, Ro. Okay. Are you ready, Bree? Okay. One moment. Let's see. What do you need to hear right now, Bree? Hello there. Alright. This one was like mostly sideways. Yeah, I thought so. Okay, so we have the Apprentice of... These are all wands. Hold on, I just noticed. These are all wands. We have the Apprentice of Wands, which is the Knight of Wands. We have the Five of Wands. And then we have the Artisan of Wands, which is the Queen of Wands. So, there's that Five of Wands energy is just kind of bringing like that conflict, that sense of conflict, and just like it's just kind of like clashing and like butting heads with people and just like disagreements. And I like to just kind of use the term to describe that sort of like petty energy, because this is usually like really petty energy, okay? This is usually really petty energy. And the term that I like to use to describe the exact type of petty energy that it usually is and how fucking pointless this sort of petty energy usually is. It's dick measuring contest energy. Like, it's purely based in ego. There is no point, there is no use. And petty energy is only going to get you... Petty energy is only going to get you more of exactly what you don't want. So... Oh, sorry. Readjusting in my chair real quick. So... essentially, just kind of... if you find yourself in this sort of situation, hey May Baba, I hope you're doing well. If you find yourself in this sort of situation where there's this sort of like conflict and this sort of petty energy, disengage with it. Don't participate in it, okay? Just don't. Also, you know, like, for any sort of, you know, like, minor disagreements, well, minor or major disagreements, really, but, for any, like, minor disagreements that you might, like, encounter, with others, especially with, like, those that are, you know, like, close to you and such, remember that you're like, especially in terms with, you know, like partners and stuff here, remember that it's never about you against the other. It's always you against both of you against the problem. Okay? So if you're also engaging with this sort of energy in your partnerships, like, full stop, knock it off. Like, full stop, knock it off. Like, that's not gonna get you anywhere good. Okay? Ever. Ever. Like, remember, like, remember to show that, like, compassionate energy. Okay, that, like, kind, compassionate, understanding energy. And this would apply to both sides, okay? Lead with that first, and do your best to remember to lead with that first, okay? Because neither of you wants to make, at least I would hope so, neither of you wants to make life harder for the other person. Do you? So, yeah. Like, it's all about finding common ground and compromising, okay? Common ground and compromising. But regardless of any of that, also remember to show yourself kindness and compassion as well, okay? Because you deserve that. You deserve that. Yeah. Let's see what this one's to add. Okay. Bridget. May the serpent wake, bellowing with the rising flame, and beckoning the wisdom that awaits your return. Keywords are many manifestations, embracing all your parts and authenticity. Interesting. Especially given our last two collectives there. Bridget, one of the most complex and beloved deities of Celtic mythology, is known by many names, including... Oh my god, I'm not gonna be able to pronounce any of these. I am so terrible with Celtic pronunciations. I'm so terrible with Celtic pronunciations. I'm assuming that Brigid, Brigitte, Brigida, and Brigantia. Probably pronouncing all those horribly. Her lore is equally abundant. She is the goddess of fire and water, and is connected with healing, craftsmanship, metalsmithing, agriculture, poetry, motherhood, children, life, and death. It's the case for, like, pretty much every, like, fucking... Pretty much, like, every... every, like, sort of, like... mothering sort of like archetype goddess, and on the flip side of that as well. But it's especially like noticeable in like that sort of like energy. Like all the other shit outside of that like mothering sort of nurturing energy is very often just kind of like ignored, or just like not included at all. And it's just like, go back and look at any like fucking like any super like fucking any ancient mythology, okay, and dig deep enough into like any of their mythology and you'll see just how multifaceted all of these energies are. There's never just one, it's never like just a one-dimensional thing, okay? And sometimes, in a lot of cases, there are very, very opposing sorts of energies associated with them. Like, again, they're just two sides of the same coin. They're separate and connected at the same time. And there are like far too many examples of that. Far too many examples of that where like there's only one aspect of mythology, of like their mythology that's focused on, and it just becomes very one-dimensional and flat. And yeah. She is depicted as being many ages, having been known as each aspect of the triple goddess, maiden, mother, and crone, but to say she is one thing would be to diminish her beauty and power. Precisely! Unlike many other pagan deities, she is one of the few to survive Christianity's attempt to erase her influence. Brigid's appearance in your reading means it is okay to be more than one thing, to change your mind or even be something to one person and indifferent to another. Who you are at work requires a very different person from who you are with friends. Who you were in the past does not have to be who you are today. This card validates your desire to take a different path, but also invites you to embrace all parts of who you are, giving each part of your personality room to shine when appropriate. That is the entire concept of shadow work. In the rare event this card falls from the deck in reverse, it can mean you are allowing others to put you into a box in which you don't belong. Being true to yourself is your greatest power. No, this one just landed straight, like, straight upright. Pretty sure. So, accept all parts of yourself. Accept all facets of yourself. All aspects of yourself. Okay? Both the good and the bad. And apply that not only to yourself, but to others, especially to your partner. And that applies to both sides of that, by the way. Okay. theme is individualism. Overworld keywords are appearances, bravery, heroism, reputation, and victory. The hero hurtles down, wreathed in flame. Wearing their gold helmet and holding their sword aloft, they descend and deliver a swift kick to their foe. They close their eyes, making the action look effortless, as their dramatic blaze of glory draws the viewer's gaze away from the hordes of monsters surrounding them. The hero wants their victory to shine in this moment, eclipsing any signs of struggle and concealing any weaknesses. They look valiant and radiant, but it's uncertain whether they'll be able to vanquish the other monsters on their own. Overworld questions are: 1. How does the reward for facing challenges alone differ from the reward for facing them with someone else? 2. What do you risk by asking for help? This is all about, like, working together. 3. Which is more enticing, solving the problem or looking good while solving it? 4. What advice would you give to someone you care about who is dealing with the same challenge? And 5. How can you learn from experience by solving this problem for yourself? They really said, stop fighting, bitch. It's funny. But yeah, I hope that message helps. Good, I'm glad. Okay, why did that not work? There we go. I had to click it again because it didn't want to move to the next person, I guess. I don't know if that's good or bad. It's just like, no, we can stay here a little longer. Okay. Let's see. Also, I just want to comment. Too. I'm not really sure who that's coming from right now, specifically, but the moment I just like started putting cards away and the moment I just kind of like switched, like moved the queue to the next person, there is this sense of tension and annoyance that just disappeared instantly. So, I'm not quite sure who it is, but yeah. Yeah. Someone definitely. I'm not sure if that's a guide. I would assume that it's a guide, but someone is definitely just kind of like not happy. Let's do a count for you, Adam. Okay. These are sideways. Okay. Oh, fuck off! Ooh, excuse me. That was a part hiccup, part burp. Okay. We have the Devil reversed, the 8 of Pentacles, and the 2 of Swords. Sorry, I had to itch my ear really quick. So there's definitely a need to keep just kind of like moving forward with things, okay? The 2 of Swords is bringing that like energy of just kind of a bit of a fear of the unknown and a fear of making a decision and a fear or like a fear based in like uncertainty, okay? It's a fear of the unknown and just kind of like a sense of uncertainty and potentially just kind of like struggling to see the way forward or just kind of like fearing making a decision on something and making something, I don't know why that's a phrase that just came up, a fear of making something real. Because it becomes real once you have to act on it. So, it's a fear of facing a problem here. Okay. A fear of facing a problem here. And that might be based in a fear of like owning up to something. But essentially, it's time to confront these things. It's time to confront this obstacle, to confront this decision, to confront these pieces of yourself that like need confronting, okay? And working through them and accepting them for what they are and accepting yourself for who you are, okay? And remember that, like, this is a process, okay? It's a learning process. It takes time. You're not going to be perfect at it right away, but that doesn't mean give up. That means keep putting in the work. No one's ever going to be perfect at anything right away. And as I like to say, perfection doesn't exist. Perfection doesn't exist. Aim for progress over perfection, because perfection doesn't exist. Okay, so just keep putting in the work. Keep doing what you can, okay, to face and accept these pieces of yourself. Thank you, my papa. But yeah, just keep working with these pieces for yourself. Keep working to accept them and accept yourself, and just kind of like show yourself like that kindness and compassion that you deserve. Okay? And yeah, just keep working through those patterns. Okay? Yes, it is. May Baba, it is. But yeah, just keep putting in the work, okay? Keep putting in the effort. The only way to make that change is to put in the work. Interesting. I see that little tagline here is going perfectly in line with that Eight of Pentacles energy. Because the Eight of Pentacles energy is all about mastery, and that whole concept of practice makes perfect. Or as I like to say, practice makes progress. Alrighty. Let's see. Forged in fire. Your strength was crafted through adversity, a mastery only you behold. Keywords are mastery of a skill, completion of a task, and detail-oriented. Again, going perfectly in line with that Eight of Pentacles energy. Metalsmithing is a centuries-old practice that has literally been honed in fire over countless generations. A master smith knows quality work is in the details and will spend hours refining to create a superior product. A smith was a sacred part of a community, especially during ancient times of constant war. Blades, axes, and armor could make or break a soldier in battle, so taking shortcuts could have deadly consequences. This card guides you to look at the smaller details rather than focusing on the bigger picture. It can mean you're taking too many shortcuts or are in need of additional skills, tools, or education before moving forward with your plans. In the rare instance this card falls out of the deck in reverse, it means you are too focused on perfectionism and need to allow yourself space to grow and improve with time. Aim for perfection, but don't obsess over it. No, aim for progress. Additionally, it can mean missing out on something because you're waiting for circumstances to be perfect. Know that that day may never come, and it is better to have tried than missed out altogether. Why was reading that so difficult? Rogue. Also, using the Fablemaker's deck of many things is really just making me like want to actually play more tabletop shit. We really gotta look into that further, Adam. We really do. Why am I grabbing that book? It's this book. Okay, Rogue. Theme is conflict. Overworld keywords are bias, distrust, enemies, hostility, and rebellion. The masked rogue perches on a ledge overlooking a city at night, brandishing an ornate dagger. They raise their other hand to adjust their fox-like face covering, or perhaps to muffle the sound of their laughter. Though the rogue is clad in black, their bright red and gold cloak suggests they want to be seen, so their enemy knows they are hostile. Their mask hides their expression, preventing the viewer from discerning their motivations or feelings. We all wear a mask of a kind, and it's not possible to fully know the inner worlds of others. Some people may dislike you for no apparent reason, or despite your best efforts. From their perch, the rogue reminds us that some solutions require us to step outside our bounds, whether set by ourselves or others. Not all rules are just, and sometimes we must be a little roguish or accept being disliked to do what's right. Okay. Questions for Overworld version are: 1. Is anyone working against you in this situation? If so, how can you outwit them? 2. Are you willing to make enemies if it means getting what you want? 3. What do you want to show to the world, and what do you want to hide? In other words, what masks do you wear? 4. What do you hate, and how do you want to improve it? 5. Are you doing the normal expected thing in this situation? Okay. So, I hope that message helps. And also, the key thing here is the mask. Okay? It's the mask. As the entry for that card says, essentially, you can't really know fully what's under that mask until it's removed. So, you know. If you want something to be acknowledged, first you have to let it be seen. But anyway, I hope that message helps. I also suddenly want a piece of candy. So, you know that giant pumpkin candle that I got specifically for the container? It's finally empty and I finally cleaned it out and it is now a candy dish. And yeah, that's like a mix of, you know, like old people candy in there because I like old people candy. You got the little strawberry candies, cinnamon discs, butterscotch discs, root beer barrels, and my favorite, Lifesaver wintergreen mints. Yes, old people candies. They're like super underrated in my opinion. Like all these candies are delicious, but not many people actually go and seek them out. I do because I love them. I think I'm gonna eat a cinnamon disc. And then maybe a wintergreen mint. Get back over there. Okay. Right. I love the Lifesaver wintergreen mints. Wintergreen is like wintergreen or like spearmint is my favorite type of mint. I'm not a huge fan of peppermint. Okay. I like fresh mint for tea, and that's it. Like using fresh mint as an ingredient in something, in like a dish, not really a huge fan of either, yeah. But fresh mint for like mint tea, absolutely delicious. I in fact used to grow my own, like take care of my own mint plant for a while, just specifically for the purpose of having mint for tea. And it was awesome. I need to get another one soon, because yeah, there was just a lot of shit that happened like over the course of like last winter, and a lot of the plants that I was like taking care of and that I was growing just kind of like died. Like, also the yeah. Also the winter, I kept like I would put my plants out in the windowsill as well to give them sun, and like the windows weren't really sealed all that well, so the winter chill also contributed to killing them, unfortunately. So it was just a mix of factors that just kind of led to them dying, and that's okay. I plan on getting, now that I have better situation and a lot more space, I plan on getting more plants this upcoming spring. So alright, my Baba, let's see what we have for you tonight. Okay, this one is sideways. Hello. What is it with the devil and turning out sideways lately? Yes. Yes, it is. There are a few cards actually. It still went sideways in the same direction. Are you kidding me? Oh, fuck off. Like, nah. I don't want to choose a direction. I'm good right here. I'm good just like this. Okay, well, sorry, but we're gonna put you upright then. Okay? Okay. Okay. Alrighty. So. Oh yeah, also before I forget, sorry, one moment. Let me go ahead and issue last call for Q here, because I just realized it's going on like 7. And I don't want to be streaming for like too much tonight, so I am trying to take it easier on myself when I do actually stream and not like put too much on myself. So yeah, I'll leave the queue open until the end of this reading. Okay, so there's definitely like some confronting here. There's definitely some confronting of just kind of like limiting beliefs and just like limits that you're placing on yourself, or even that others are placing on you as well. There's definitely like confrontation with this devil card here, of those like parts of yourself, okay? And it's just kind of you're just kind of beginning to essentially discover all of these pieces of yourself and just kind of create a bigger, more complete picture of yourself, allowing you to essentially just kind of be more true to yourself and discover more about yourself and what lies beneath some of those things. Is just like the general vibe that I'm getting from just the combination of these cards here. So, essentially, the vibe here is just keep doing what you're doing, really. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep uncovering like new paths, new parts of yourself, and yeah. Just, yeah, discover more of who you are. Like, overall, it's just, like, very... just real chill. Oh, hello. Incense. That's the art that's on the box, actually. That's the art that's featured on the box. Card 28. Okay. Oh, this is going to go really in line, just seeing this. This is going to go really in line with that. King of Swords energy. Did I even read what they are? I'm sorry. Just in case I didn't, this is the devil. You got the Master of Swords, which is the King of Swords, and then the Seven of Cups. My bad. But yes, this card is going to go really in line with this King of Swords energy. Allow the smoke to reveal the truth, clearing the haze while lifting the fog. Keywords here are clearing blocks, truth, and aha moments. Yes. The Seven of Cups is the Christmas tree, and I believe the Christmas... like, a Christmas tree is also featured, I believe, on the 10 of Pentacles, I believe, as well. There are a few cards that feature really, really pretty Christmas trees. Okay. The sacred smoke of incense can be seen as a highway to the divine, immediately clearing out negativity while carrying your hopes and intentions to the heavens. Frankincense resin in particular corresponds with spiritual opening and creating a pathway to successful ventures. Receiving this card represents the aha moment when the fog is lifted and suddenly everything makes sense. You are now able to look back and see where all of the challenges, changes, and choices have brought you to. If you've had integrity in your journey through life, then you have nothing to fear. However, if your path has been dotted with cruelty or moral depravity, you may be entering into what might be termed bad luck. In this way, this card also represents karma or balancing the scales, and it can also mean it's time to put out all your cards on the table. Truth will free you, and any others involved, lifting any burdens you may have been carrying and allowing you to begin the process of healing and moving forward. So, overall, this card is just kind of going, like I said, really in line about, like, discovering, like, uncovering, like, all those bits of yourself and discovering, like, the truth of, like, you. So yeah, this is essentially just kind of like, again, like I said, just kind of discovering all the little parts and just kind of piecing together the bigger picture sort of vibe. So yeah. And this card is very much going in line with that. Those two were definitely stuck together. Were those, okay. Sorry, I caught a glimpse of, like, both of those cards, and I thought for a second that was Skull followed by the Death card, which would have been really funny, because those two cards are actually tied together. But no, it's not. But that would have been funny. And I was about to be like, huh? Excuse you? Okay. This card apparently just really wants to pop out. So. I'm gonna get you another one here, though. And that's the skull card from before, because of course it is. Alright, we have Skull, Overworld, and Idiot Underworld. I'm sorry, Skull and Idiot together is just kind of... Those two words together are just giving, like, a really funny vibe. It's just kind of, you know, that, like... That, like, sort of, like... thick in the head sort of, like, vibe together. It's like... that's just not that has anything exactly not that has anything to do with this reading or like the meaning of either of these cards, but seeing those two together, those two words together, it's just that's just like the image that's created in my head. Ugh, it's funny. There he is. Skull. Theme is sacrifice. Overworld keywords are burden, leadership, obligation, responsibility, and trust. The card of sacrifice, the skull, is the emblem of a challenge that asks you to look inward and make a choice only you can make. The eyes of the skull are set upon you, its morbid gaze empty. You have the power to decide which course to take, but you may need to sacrifice your own comfort and meet the expectations placed upon you. Value the counsel of others, but know that what comes next is up to you. It may be tempting to allow another to make your decisions for you, but the challenge issued by the skull demands that you trust in yourself enough to choose a course of action. Questions associated with Overworld version of Skull are: 1. What would you like to accomplish? 2. What do you need to sacrifice to fulfill your desire? 3. How can you step up and lead the way? 4. What would make you feel more confident about your decision? And 5. Who do you trust and not trust to help you with your situation? So, knowing the connection between the skull card and the death card in this deck, because this deck is actually a deck that can be used for tabletop games, for like D&D. It's called the Fablemaker's Deck of Many Things. The Deck of Many Things is an object in D&D, Dungeons and Dragons. The skull card here actually summons the death card, which is a monster. It summons a monster. And the death card is all about just kind of like that concept of self versus self. This is like the enemy that it summons, by the way. And it's about confronting those, like, it goes very much in line with like the devil card, about confronting those like patterns and those like pieces of yourself that perhaps you struggle with and don't quite fully accept. And going in line, like carrying that same sort of like energy into like this card, doing self-reflection and confronting those pieces of yourself is, again, only a decision that you can make. It's only something that you can do. But that doesn't mean that you can't get help along your journey, of course. That's what therapists are for. But yeah. But yeah, so in the context of like that sort of energy, like confronting the patterns within yourself and stuff, and like changing things for yourself, changing those things for yourself is again something, like I said, that like only you can really do. And so that might be, you know, the sort of context for that part about, you know, like how there's a decision that like only you can make here. Like only you can make that decision, and only you can actually make those changes for yourself. And then we have Idiot, which is a funny name for a card. Okay. Idiot. Humility. Underworld keywords are audacity, complexity, preparation, timing, and wit. The Sphinx spreads her wings in triumph, with a forepaw resting on the cracked helmet of a defeated challenger. The challenger's weapons lie below the helmet, shield dented and sword chipped. Clearly, the challenger thought they were ready to outwit or fight the Sphinx, but she outmatched them. It is unknown what, if anything, the challenger did to prepare for combat, or whether they thought the battle would be easy. Either way, it was a fight they couldn't win. Some challenges are too great to face right now, which is a hard lesson to learn. But just because it's not the right time to take up the challenge doesn't mean that you'll never do it. It just means you'll be in a better position to try at a more opportune time. Okay. Underworld questions are: 1. Is the situation you find yourself in one that could benefit from decisive action? 2. Where could you gain new information that you haven't considered yet? 3. Is there something you've been putting off because it seems difficult? 4. Can you solve your problem with lateral thinking rather than head-on? 5. If you make a mistake, how will you learn from it? Okay. And, like, yeah. This journey can be a bit of a daunting one, but it's also one that will serve you very well. Once you understand all those pieces of yourself, you can kind of gain a better understanding of just how you operate. Which means that you can better pick up and like notice when you're making choices that aren't quite aligned with who you are and who you want to be and where you want to be. Okay, so I hope that message helps. Why did I just get a low battery message from my camera? You're plugged in. The fuck you mean? Okay, so let me go ahead, and before I forget, go ahead and close the queue out here. There we go. Right? You're supposed to be charging. What do you mean you're not charging? What do you mean your battery is draining further? Like, I'm just using my phone, and like an app on my phone that lets me use my phone as a camera, but like, what do you mean? You're supposed to be charging, you're plugged in. It's funny though. Even my camera is saying, okay, like, take it easy on yourself, no streaming for like 3+ hours tonight, okay? Because I'm not gonna let you, because I'm gonna die in the middle of it. Thank you, camera. Thank you, phone. But anyway, I hope that message helps. Apparently, yes. Even my camera wants a break. Okay. Okay. So let's see what... Oops. Let's see what message they want to close us out with tonight. Hello. Hello. Okay. Oh boy. We got 7 of Swords, and let me check these. Okay, you want to be upright. And you want to be reversed. Okay. We have the 7 of Swords, the 9 of Wands, and the Artisan of Cups, which is the Queen of Cups. So, there's definitely just kind of like a sense here, a reminder to not like get in your own way and to not like sabotage yourself here. Specifically, like this is, you know, like one of the common forms I talk about with like self-sabotage and stuff is like just kind of like that sense. One of the ways that just kind of often goes unnoticed is, you know, that sense of just kind of like when something good is happening for you, you just kind of are taken out of that moment, taken out of the moment and taken away from experiencing the good because you're just waiting for it to be taken from you, waiting for that hit to come, waiting for things to go wrong, and just constantly looking over your shoulder, waiting for that moment. Which again, takes you out of that moment. But here I get the sense that it's mostly just kind of in regards to just kind of like vulnerability here, okay? And this can go both ways, okay? You might be struggling to be vulnerable and like open up to people and like letting yourself be seen, letting your emotions be seen and be heard, and allowing yourself to express them properly. Not even necessarily around others, okay? This can just be like difficulty with expressing them just yourself. just by yourself, to yourself, and just kind of like trying to shove them away. Also at the same time though, there might be a bit of like on the other side of that, you might also just kind of be struggling with like setting boundaries here a little bit, okay? You might have like an issue with boundaries and just kind of like not doing enough to just kind of like, hello, like not doing enough to just kind of like protect yourself emotionally and like shield yourself from like that like harm, okay? But yes, so whichever direction that goes in here, I get the sense that that's just kind of what this specifically is referring to, is this energy here, okay? And like keep going here, okay? The Nine of Wands it is calling on both sides of that energy here, all right? That Nine of Wands reversal energy is referring to like that feeling of just kind of wanting to give up, like struggling with like feelings of wanting to give up, okay? But like upright, it is reminding you to keep going and keep pushing through that, okay? See things through, okay? You don't yet know, again, what lies on the other side. So, see things through to the finish line. To see what exactly is on the other side of it. Don't let, you know, like, old patterns just kind of continue spinning that narrative for you and tell you that, like, things are only going to go one way. But yeah, no matter what you're dealing with right now though, outside of like the other things there, just again, see things through, okay? Hello. That card just flew out. We got Amethyst, card number 1. It's also very pretty. Go where your spirit dwells, where your sight is clear and your breath is liberated. Keywords are intuition, spiritual connection, and stress relief, which that also does go in line with that Queen of Cups energy, so. And perhaps you might be feeling a bit disconnected, a bit out of tune with that like part of yourself right now, and that's okay. It's okay. You may be experiencing a very emotional or stressful time when you receive the Amethyst card. Perhaps a situation has gotten out of hand and you aren't sure how you're going to resolve the matter. Amethyst is considered to be both a stone of spiritual connection and helpful in seeking sobriety, which suggests the answer to your question is likely a balance between spiritual and practical means. Taking time to clear your mind in a meditative practice could help in seeking a solution to your problem, or it could provide inspiration for your next steps. However, it is still up to you to put the guidance you have received into practice. Going in line with like that last bit of that last message. Connecting with cosmic intelligence has no useful power if you are unwilling or unmotivated to act upon this gift of wisdom. Trust that your intuition is correct and will guide you to the right outcome. Additionally, this card encourages you to find productive ways to manage stress and warns of the destructive habit of playing the victim. Perhaps you even feel powerless against your impulses, but giving in to temptation is likely to lead to further heartache. While it may not be easy, there is a way out of your circumstances, because deep down you know what to do even if you don't want to do it. Okay. So. Yeah. That is going a bit in line as well with like letting go of like the ways in which you self-sabotage. Okay. And let's see. What's this have for us here? Really? Really? That card I was just talking about, huh? Going very in line with that message of this one here about like it's a decision, a choice only you can make. The Skull's here to say, yeah, what that card said. Skull. Theme again is sacrifice. Overworld keywords are burden, leadership, obligation, responsibility, and trust. The card of sacrifice, the skull, is the emblem of a challenge that asks you to look inward and make a choice only you can make. The eyes of the skull are set upon you, its morbid gaze empty. You have the power to decide which course to take. Sorry. That one just made me giggle. The eyes of the skull are set upon you, its morbid gaze empty. Yeah. You have the power to decide which course to take, but you may need to sacrifice your own comfort and meet the expectations placed upon you. Value the counsel of others, but know that what comes next is up to you. It may be tempting to allow another to make your decisions for you, but the challenge issued by the skull demands that you trust in yourself enough to choose a course of action. Yes. Which, both of those do kind of go in line, like I said, with this. The Queen of Cups energy. Because there is that element of, like, trusting. There is that element of intuition with the Queen of Cups and, like, trusting your intuition and trusting like the spiritual guidance that you've been given. And you might be struggling to trust yourself enough here in that regard, and though like this card said, you may know what you need to do, but you're just kind of resisting it for whatever reason that may be. So this doesn't mean to be hard on yourself here, okay? And I don't ever agree with the phrasing that it uses about playing the victim. That's a phrase that doesn't really ever need to be used too much. So, and it very, very frequently just kind of turns into victim blaming. And just kind of blaming people for feeling a certain way about things, and I don't agree with that. Okay. But yeah, like none of that means that you exactly. That's why I don't like using that phrasing. Which is why I will call it out like every time it's used, and I don't like these decks, this specific line of decks, for this reason, because it uses that phrasing way too much, especially the Samhain Oracle. It got better with time, but yeah. So, I still use them because there is still value in those decks. There is still insight to be found in those decks. You can use something like that and still call out the not so great aspects of it as well. Which is what I do anytime I use any of these decks and I encounter phrasing that I don't like. So, like, and using that phrasing also often just makes people feel guilty. It makes them feel even more guilty for feeling the way that they do. Which is why I wanted to point that out and say that, you know, like, that doesn't mean be hard on yourself, by the way, okay? Like, if you know there's something, going back to what I was saying earlier, if you know that there's something you need to be doing and you haven't done it yet and you haven't been able to do it yet, that's not a reason to be hard on yourself, okay? Being hard on yourself and being overly critical of yourself and just harming yourself further isn't going to serve you well. There's no reason for it, okay? There's no purpose in it. If guilting yourself and being hard on yourself worked, it would have worked by now. So, keeping that in mind, remember that, again, you don't need to be hard on yourself. That doesn't mean that you need to be hard on yourself, and that doesn't mean that you need to put pressure on yourself to go do those things, okay? When you have the capacity mentally and emotionally and, like, energetically, like, when you have the capacity to physically and emotionally and mentally handle those tasks, go do those tasks. Or at least do those things. Like, just begin working towards those things, okay? Do what you can towards those things. It doesn't matter if you get it all done right away, okay? Just do it when you can, when you have the capacity to, okay? Because guilting yourself and making yourself feel bad and making yourself feel worse is, again, it's not helpful. It's not gonna help any. It's just gonna make things worse. So, be nice to yourself is the point of all that. Be nice to yourself. Yes, do the thing, but do it when you're able to. And don't be hard on yourself. Okay? That's also another form of self-sabotage that we kind of like talked about, you know, here with this card, the self-sabotage energy with Seven of Swords. That's another form of self-sabotage. Just saying. Okay? And, like, again, none of that is meant to make you feel guilty. That's not the point of any of that. Or any of this, okay? But bringing awareness to those things and learning how to spot that pattern when it's popping up allows you to, again, be aware of it when it's showing up for you. And you can choose a better reaction to it. One that's healthier for you, one that's better. Rather than engaging in self-sabotage and, like, tearing yourself down further when you're already feeling like shit, you can choose to uplift yourself by being kind and compassionate to yourself. Okay? Again, none of it is meant to make you feel guilty. That's also, again, like I said, why I avoid the phrase victim, playing the victim, okay? Because it just makes people feel worse. Like I've said, before, or perhaps I haven't. I don't know that I've actually said that on stream. I think the reason why I'm thinking like I said that is because it was a phrase that I put in the guide that I recently released involving like how to deepen your connection to tarot. I did write a guide on that, by the way, for like anyone who might be interested. It's on my Ko-fi page. There's a post about it, and I also released it as a PDF for anyone who might be interested. It just goes over like various ways of how to incorporate tarot into, you know, like a daily practice, and how to just kind of like deepen your connection and practice with tarot as a whole, and other ways to use tarot. Anyway, it was a line that I wrote in that about like how there's often, just especially within shadow work, there's like this like feeling the need to just kind of be like brutally honest with yourself. And like you can be honest with yourself without being mean to yourself. I mean, you can be honest about things without being, you know, like rude about it, just in general, okay? Like yeah. Like being completely honest with yourself doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be brutally honest to yourself and be hard on yourself, okay? Being hard on yourself just kind of like furthers those like feelings of shame and guilt. They don't really serve you very well. And it's often just going to teach you the wrong things, teach you the wrong lessons, make things worse for you, and just make things harder. So, yes. Anyway. I hope that message helps for whoever needed to hear it. I guess I decided to go on a bit of a rant there. But yeah, I hope that message helped for whoever needed to hear it. I unfortunately need to call it here though, because I need to go take care of myself. And go get some food, and also apparently give my camera a break here because I got a low battery warning. Even though it's plugged in, I got a low battery warning from it before like beginning this reading here, so it's clearly done too. But yeah, it's time for me to call it here so that I can go take care of myself and go get some food and just go chill for the rest of the night, and do whatever. As I said earlier, I'm trying to keep streams a little bit shorter anyway and not put too much pressure on myself, by feeling, you know, like I just kind of need to be doing more or doing a lot for, you know, like a stream to be good, quote unquote good, or worth it, or like any of that bullshit. Yeah, I'm just trying to take things slow and stream only when I feel like it and when I feel well enough to, and put less pressure on myself by feeling the need to stick to a schedule, and also like feel like I need to stream for, you know, like more than like 2-3 hours. So yeah. Hence why I'm streaming on a Monday instead of streaming on a Tuesday. Of course. Thank you for stopping by. But yeah, it's time for me to call it here so that I can go take care of myself. Thank you all for stopping by. Whether you joined the queue, talked in chat, or just lurked, I appreciate you sharing your time with me. I hope to see you all again soon, but bye for now.